Welcome to Chamber Exchange, a TV show. My name is Tim Murray, President and CEO of the Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce. And Chamber Exchange, a TV show, is an opportunity for us to bring on chamber members who are in business in the area, as well as guests that affect economic development and public policy. The show is brought to you by our sponsors, Bank Hometown and St. Vincent Hospital. And in that impact of economic development, I'm very pleased to have with us Todd Tallman, who is the CEO of Cornerstone Bank. Todd, welcome.
Thank you, Tim. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, well, you've been a busy guy and literally breaking news almost before we begin the taping of the show. But Cornerstone Bank, first and foremost, opened up a beautiful new branch at Tatnick Square.
Yeah, it's our third location in Worcester. Very excited about the opportunity. We've been really looking to put a branch in the Tatnick area for many years. Looked at a lot of different spaces. Didn't really work out for us. Really excited when this opportunity became available and been really pleased. As always, Worcester's so welcoming and been welcoming to us. The area has been tremendous. It's been incredibly busy. The staff there has been excellent. So it's really been a great opportunity for us, and we're excited about what it can do for us in the future.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I think maybe a little context about the history of Cornerstone Bank, but you know, after the Great Recession of 2008, for banks and financial institutions, the regulatory environment dramatically changed, and that put a lot of pressure on kind of community-based, maybe traditional or smaller banks by some standards when you compare them to these international and national banks.
Yep.
And with that, a number of these kind of community banks and regions kind of have come together, and that's a bit of the story of Cornerstone Bank.
Yeah. You know, Cornerstone Bank was the formation of two local community banks. Long time, over 150 years of each bank. Southbridge Savings Bank and Spencer Savings Bank in Spencer, Mass. Not telling you anything you don't know, but the regulatory framework in which banking has to operate has changed tremendously. And a bank like Cornerstone Bank has always been very focused on the community, its customers, its employees.
And that's what a mutual bank does, right?
100%.
It's about giving back. There's no pressure.
There's no earnings pressure from an outside party, stockholders. Yeah. We're there to really give back, to create products and services that really benefit the local community, offer technology and new ways to operate. But certainly through outside influences, compliance, regulatory, technology, certainly the expense that it takes to run a bank is very different. But we've always really held to our mission. And our mission has always been about giving back to the community and being committed to the community. You know, we're very proud of the volunteerism that our employees give back, well over 2,000 hours of time, incredibly committed to financial literacy and our commitment to local nonprofits, and over $500,000 in community donations that we provided last year. So we believe that our mission, I think, is very beneficial to the community. I think it's always been a hand-in-glove relationship with every community we're in, and Worcester is certainly is no different.
So with this addition of Tatnick now, how many branches kind of within the service area?
So we have 12 branches in southern Worcester County. We go as far west as Sturbridge and as far east as Shrewsbury, and our Shrewsbury branch is just maybe a year and a half old.
Yeah, so Sturbridge branch is pretty nice too.
Sturbridge has been pretty nice. It's a flagship branch of ours that's been around a long time, for sure.
Yeah, and it was in there recently. So the Tatnick, just kind of continuation of that growth and being engaged with the community.
Yeah, I mean, Worcester's always embraced us and we've embraced Worcester. So this was really just a further commitment to the area. It really gives us an opportunity, I think, to hit, if you work and live in Worcester, we want to be convenient to be able to do face-to-face banking, if that's what works for you. If the technology aspect of how we operate, or a hybrid thereof, we want to be able to be there for you when you need us.
So as your footprint grows, Southbridge Savings Bank, Spencer Savings Bank rolled up a number of years ago to Cornerstone Bank. But as we come on the show, announcement. A pretty significant merger with Athol Savings Bank.
Yeah, we announced that on the 28th, so just at the end of July. We've entered into an agreement to merge with Athol Savings Bank, which really is still Worcester County, but on the northern part, really brings our footprint really from the northern part all the way down
Right.
to southern Worcester County. Gives us a very good foothold within Central Mass, and we're very excited about the opportunity. Again, another community bank, very similar culture, very similar commitment to its employees, to its community. And so from a culture perspective, it's really just an extension of who we are.
Right. And this benefits, on the business side too. Mutual banks staying local, but your assets, I think it was reported $2 billion in combined assets with this merger.
Yep.
But that gives you more lending capacity with banks. It gives your customers, just traditional kind of customers other
Right.
than deposits, I guess it's called, rather
Yep.
than and commercial and business, just more convenience, right?
Yeah, it certainly gives us the opportunity to lend at a much higher level. That's part of it. Another part, though, is it really gives us access to some really talented employees within Central Mass. The lifeblood of who we are and how we operate is generally tied to the talent that we can retain and acquire. And so we have talked about this a lot within the bank. This really gives us a tremendous opportunity, a great challenge for a lot of people out there that want to, get into banking. It really provides a great challenge, I think, for someone who's, looking to get into this space. The other part, it does certainly give us access to more technology. On a bigger scale, we have access to the ability to open accounts online, electronically, or lending, whatever
Right.
you may be looking for. Your internet banking is improved. And one other thing that actually Cornerstone Bank rolled out about 2 years ago, and Athol has actually rolled out just recently, is video banking. So the ability to go to an ATM, and if you have a little bit more of a complex transaction and you really want to talk with someone and have them either walk you through it or help you with the transaction, you can do it right there from the machine.
Right, technology. And just, we can touch on that in a few minutes we have left, but you talk about that access to talent. When you look at Worcester County, one of our biggest employment sectors are the financial services, and within that is banking.
Yeah.
Young person out there or somebody maybe thinking about a career change, why should they think about kind of banking and financial services in kind of today's environment?
Yeah, it's funny. We always, within the bank, talk about how pretty much everybody ended up there accidentally. Whatever they did, either from a schooling perspective or whatever they sort of
You're
went
an
into.
accountant by
I'm an
background.
accountant by background,
Yeah,
so I guess I did too. But you end up
That
with,
worked out all right.
I guess. From that perspective, it really covers so many different skill sets, whether that's customer service, whether that's sort of finance-based.
Right.
There's math involved. So we've really spent a lot of time trying to educate. One of the areas that I'm excited about, there's a group that I've come in contact with that in Connecticut, they're actually starting a banking major through college. And it's really incredibly beneficial to us, obviously,
Right.
because it's always been hard that sort of banking is always looked at sort of as a hybrid. I was an accountant, but I guess I can do banking because some of it translates. But there's really never been anything that sort of pulled it all together. But if you finance or lending or customer service, if sort of those aspects of who you are and what you've learned, and really at the core of who you are, banking is a tremendous industry. It really is quite interesting. The hard part is community banking is very different than what you see on Wall Street
Right.
from sort of the mega banks. From that perspective, we operate very differently. It's sort of an old school mentality, and it's more customer service based than some of the others.
One of the things you hear from some bankers is, you mentioned kind of those attributes, but there's also a gratification that you're helping people, right?
Yeah.
You're helping a business grow or expand, or somebody with an idea, but maybe doesn't have the financial expertise or
Right.
background to say, how do I realize or launch that? So
Right.
I've heard bankers talk about some great satisfaction, or I've helped that business get started, or
Right.
I helped that business grow, and that creates economic opportunity and ladders.
100%. Well, you talk about, you hear it a lot, right? The opportunity with a residential mortgage. You get an individual
Life-changing.
to put them in their house, oftentimes for the first time, is probably one of the most gratifying transactions we do.
Right. Well, Todd Tallman, CEO of Cornerstone Bank, thanks. A lot to talk about, given some the big moves with the Tatnick branch opening and then the merger with Athol Savings Bank. Congrats.
Thank you, Tim. I really appreciate it.
Good. Well, stay with us. We're going to come back for our next segment in just a moment.
These days, you've got your hands full in life. That's why we help you bank simply and securely with tools like Face ID and Touch ID. It's why we make it easy to make purchases on the go and get cash back while you're at it. Why we help you quickly deposit checks wherever you are. And it's why we lend a hand with sending and receiving money right from your phone. So even when you're on the move, you can manage your finances. Bank Hometown. Unlock your potential.